Here's an article by Chris Thompson entitled Ancient Aliens Are Real at medium.com. And Mr. Thompson begins. There are two groups of theories regarding ancient aliens: Anunnaki theories and reptilian theories. Both types of theories claim the human race did not evolve through Darwinian processes, but had extraterrestrial origins. And both types of theories claim our real history was like the TV series Stargate, with extraterrestrials guiding the development of our society, sharing their technology, and playing the role of gods. The Anunnaki and reptilian theories differ on who these gods were. The reptilians are thought to resemble the lizard people from the TV series V, except they never bothered to disguise themselves as humans. The Anunnaki are thought to be more human-looking, except that they were 12 to 15 feet tall, twice as tall as humans. Those who subscribe to the reptilian theory believe the Anunnaki were reptilians. This is not my view. I believe the Anunnaki and the reptilians were two distinct races, writes the author, and both played a significant role in shaping human history. The majority of researchers believe the Anunnaki were the gods, and I myself lean towards this view, but I am not 100% convinced it was not the reptilians. The problem is that the evidence and the historical records that survive from those times, around 12,000 years ago, is fragmentary and can be interpreted in many different ways, like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. They can fit together in many combinations to form many different pictures. The main difference between the reptilian and Anunnaki theories is in where they say the human race came from. The reptilian theory posits that humans originated in the Lyran star system, that they had a war with reptilians millennia ago, and that they came to Earth as refugees from that war. But the reptilians followed them to Earth, and the war continued here. Ultimately, the war climaxed in an exchange of nuclear weapons. Many scholars believe the biblical account of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah is based on a real historical account of how those cities were destroyed by nuclear fire. The war finally came to an end when the reptilians and the Lyran humans agreed that neither species would rule the Earth. The Earth would instead be ruled by a hybrid of both species. So reptilian genes and human genes were spiced together to create this hybrid. That is us, modern humans. The Anunnaki theory tells a different story. The Anunnaki came to Earth to mine for minerals, primarily gold, on which most of their technology was based, and which was in short supply on their home planet, Nibiru. Nibiru passes close to Earth every 3,600 years. The rest of the time, its highly elliptical orbit carries it well outside our solar system. It was during one of these 3,600-year flybys that the Anunnaki came to Earth to mine for gold. But the mining was hard work, and after a few thousand years, the Anunnaki got tired of it and started looking for a convenient source of slave labor. The solution was to take the most highly evolved primate species on Earth at that time and graft onto it their own genes. The result was the first humans, who resembled the Anunnaki but were shorter, because they were created in God's image, as the Bible claims. Some scholars believe the original text of the Bible says humans were created in the image of the gods, plural, which would be more historically accurate given that there were many Anunnaki. Over time, the Anunnaki interbred with their creators. With their creations, our ancestors, so that they came to resemble the Anunnaki more and more, and the apes they had evolved from less and less. When the Bible says there were giants in the earth in those days, it is referring to the Anunnaki and their offspring. The Anunnaki became divided into two factions: those that wanted to share their technology with humans, and those that wanted to keep it to themselves. For Anunnaki theorists, the nuclear war that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah was between these opposing Anunnaki factions. Soon after this war, Nibiru was due to pass close to Earth again, which would have devastating effects for anyone left on the surface of Earth, i.e. the flood. The anti-human Anunnaki faction, led by Enlil, wanted only to save themselves and leave the humans to die. But the pro-human faction, led by Enki, thought the humans should be saved. Enki gave Noah instructions to build an ark, in which he and his family could survive the coming flood. As Nibiru passed by the Earth, its gravity caused the southern polar ice cap to slide into the ocean, causing a flood so massive that every civilization that existed at the time now has a flood myth. The one in the Bible is hardly unique. For a few hundred years, the Anunnaki returned to Earth and helped the humans rebuild, but they did not linger long because they wanted to go home to Nibiru before its highly elliptical orbit carried it out of our solar system. The Anunnaki left, and as humans bred with one another, the Anunnaki genes became diluted, and our race became shorter in stature. For Anunnaki purists, the story ends there. But I am not an Anunnaki purist. And I believe our true history is likely some hybrid of the Anunnaki and reptilian theories. Just as our species is a hybrid of Anunnaki and reptilian DNA. I believe that after the Anunnaki created us, through genetic engineering and interbreeding, the reptilians tampered with our DNA further to make us more like them, the reptilians. That's why we now have a reptilian brain and a mammalian brain encased within our skulls. It is the conflict between these two brains that creates our dualistic nature. We get our spiritual creative side from the Anunnaki and our savage destructive side from the reptilians.